David Essel here with a few thoughts of the day. I love doing these little videos. Today is a really special one, and it's all about ADD and ADHD, and I want to give a completely different perspective. I could be 100% on base, I could be 100% off base, but I think you might find it of interest. And if you like these little short videos we're doing, feel free to share them. It's all about helping people heal. That's all we've been doing for years. As I mentioned, David Essel, I'm 43 years now in the business of personal growth, 12 books, 4 of them #1 bestsellers, and the list goes on and on. I've had great luck, but I've also had ADD and ADHD my whole life. People who are normally close to me and they know me very well know me like the back of their hand. It's something that I didn't even know I had, quite frankly, and it was a driving force behind my addictions. Once I was diagnosed with all these mental health challenges that I didn't even know I had because I had been self-medicating for so long. And this is a very long time ago, but it's relevant today, especially what the world's going through with the pandemic. So many people are self-medicating with conditions like ADD and ADHD. So with attention deficit disorder, it's really about the brain jumping from topic to topic. We can get distracted very quickly, chasing shiny objects, right? That's a very common phrase used amongst people with ADD. We jump, we think differently than the average population. And then with ADHD, we have a hard time sitting unless we're extremely focused on something we love. So let me share with you something that's come up in conversations with some very close friends recently. I have to wonder if ADD and ADHD aren't spiritual gifts that we have misnamed, that we have mislabeled. The minute someone says that they have ADD, ADHD, it's like people back away. If they don't back away physically, they back away mentally. There's something wrong with this person. And a lot of people like me with ADD and ADHD, if we don't get on the right medication, we will use substances to try to calm the brain down. It's a very normal thing to do. Alcohol, pot, nicotine, food. Oh my God, there's so many options that people with ADD and ADHD use to try to get away from their condition. But what if it wasn't negative? What if ADD and ADHD, if looked at appropriately, identified appropriately, titled appropriately, couldn't be an incredible blessing? And if you're watching this right now and you have a child with ADD or ADHD, a partner, a lover, a best friend, and they are out of control and they drive you nuts, you may be looking at me going, David, that's crazy talk. But I really believe this to be true. I really believe after all these years with ADD and ADHD, I tried medication and it was horrendous for me. Now, it may work for some people. It did not work for me at all. I tried multiple different medications. They were all terrible. They kept me up at night. I could never sleep, and I had trouble sleeping anyway. So that was not for me. But I got off of all medication, and I started to think about how do I set up my day? So I started setting up my day to be very specific. I made sure that every 30 minutes to an hour, I was doing something totally different. In the world of counseling, that's very easy to do. Whoever I'm counseling at 9 a.m., at 10 a.m. is going to be a totally different topic. So see, that works for me in the profession I chose. Being able to write an article that might take 20, 30 minutes to write, and then to jump and to do a video like this, right? And then to go and do something else. That really works well with my ADD and ADHD. But let me go back to the power of spirit. Spirit, if you believe in something greater than yourself, can come through us at any time. And I have noticed so many times that in my constant movement, my mental constant movement, or even my physical constant movement, that I'm constantly be given these incredible downloads, these messages that are outrageously, incredibly fruitful for my business, my personal life, etc. And I'll give you an example. Every morning I sit in my courtyard for anywhere from an hour to 2 hours, and I do my meditation. I do a lot of spiritual work, just very deep spiritual work. Now, my brain still is fully intact with ADD. My body is still fully intact with ADHD. There will be times in the middle of a very deep meditation that thoughts will come that are mind-blowing. Oh my gosh, I've got to do this, and I've got to add this to the weekend certification, and I've got to write this in the new book, and so I have a notebook next to me. I don't get frustrated that I'm meditating or I'm in a conversation with God or Archangel Michael or my mom and dad who have passed. I don't get frustrated anymore and go, oh my God, I'm trying to meditate. Instead, I grab my pen and paper, I write down a few notes, I put it down, no emotion at all, and I go back to my spiritual practices. And I've started to realize that this interruption of thoughts, ideas, actions is an incredible blessing. It's one of the most amazing blessings in the world. But isn't life based on perspective? If our perspective is that ADD and ADHD is a negative and people can't cope with it and I can't cope with it, well, then we're going to continue to rewrite the same story that millions of people believe about ADD and ADHD, that it's negative, it's terrible. But I'm going to tell you now, looking back at my entire life, I'm 66 years of age. Looking back over 66 years, I have benefited so greatly by being able to move from topic to topic quickly, by being able to move from client to client quickly, by being able to, in the middle of a presentation, get a download of 10 topics I never thought I was going to talk about during that presentation that bring me up to a higher level of consciousness. So, Stuart, hey there. Oh, I love it, my brother. I know there's a lot of us out here, that have this challenge or this condition, but I want to rephrase it, re-identify it. I want to look at it, if done correctly, as a gift. Now, if you're in a profession, and I'll give you an example, going back a long, long time ago, my first job was in a hospital. I lasted 6 months. I was sitting behind a desk. It was in the 70s, okay? And it was terrible. It was horrendous for me. I couldn't make it more than 6 months. Ever since then, I've owned my own business. So I'm constantly moving, shaking, shifting, going in different directions. And I realize now that this terrible condition, or these what people call terrible conditions, have allowed me to go into so many different facets of life I never would have had I stayed at that hospital job, or had I stayed in one position only. So share this video. Think about it, right? Think about how many different conditions do we label negative, but it's only one perspective. I look at my addictions and people are going to think I'm crazy when I say this. What a blessing. For 30 years, I was an alcoholic and a cocaine addict. What a freaking blessing. You might go, what the hell are you talking about? It's allowed me to help thousands of people get clean today. It's perspective. So I hope you'll take this perspective on ADD and ADHD and share it all over social media. Let's start to look at things differently. And if you have this and you're struggling and you need help, reach out to me at talkdavid.com. I'll put the website below. Let's work together. I can give you 1,000 tips on how to make these conditions more acceptable and even more beneficial to who you are and what you're doing in life. The website is talkdavid.com. I'm David Essel. Have a beautiful day.